Battlefield 6 is launching tomorrow and I was invited to play the game early ahead of launch, so big thanks to EA for sponsoring this video. EA also gave me a creator code. If you do go ahead and buy BF6 or anything on the EA app, use code WFW and I'll get a slice of the revenue. Battlefield 6 is undoubtedly one of the most anticipated games, not just this year, but in recent years generally. I can't think of a game in the FPS genre in the last couple of years that has come anywhere close to the hype and excitement generated by this game. Battlefield 6 has been trying very hard to flip people's perceptions of the Battlefield franchise 180 degrees after 2042, and it's looking very promising. All the reception of the game and its marketing so far suggests it's looking like it could dominate the FPS space on launch. I've even seen comments on the trailers that suggest people think the marketing for BF6 has been absolutely spot on. People loved the live action trailer so much, millions of people have watched it in the last week, and the comment section is wild. Positivity like this is very rare, especially towards AAA studios. Now, we've seen a lot of Battlefield 6 already. I played it at the reveal event back in LA as well as in the beta, but this early access event revealed some great new maps we hadn't seen yet. Now, just as a precursor to this footage you're about to see, in this event we played the actual launch version of the game, meaning I was playing on my actual copy of BF6, so I didn't have the chance to unlock everything and showcase all the gadgets and weapons like I did in other preview events, where in those builds everything was unlocked. However, we did get to play on all the maps in the game as well as all the different modes on offer. I also got the chance to play with a lot of toys I hadn't used in the reveal event or beta, including this drone. I was pinging everyone left, right, center with this bad boy, and it must have been absolutely infuriating. I don't think people expected this level of stealth in an early access event, and I know it's not exactly like absolute cinema, but I did lay there on my belly at the back of the map during the event, and I just used thermal pings for a very long time, and I've got no regrets, to be honest. It's just tactical gameplay. As I said, the event featured the remaining maps we hadn't seen yet, including Manhattan Bridge and Sobek City. I was very excited to see whether these last few maps can live up to the hype and also answer a lot of the critics from a lot of discussions surrounding leaks. Firstly, this is Manhattan Bridge. It's set in Dumbo, Brooklyn, which you might recognize. It's one of those iconic views or locations seen in so many iconic films. I always say that games need iconic, classic things. Maps, weapons, gadgets. It doesn't matter how powerful or beautiful they are. They need that extra intangible something. And this map features intense urban combat. The objectives you need to capture are very varied, and they all deliver their own unique moments. So I'll just show you the different points on this map so you can get an idea of how it looks. Firstly, the A point is based at the middle of a crossroads, and when I was fighting at this point, I had a lot of epic moments with the attack chopper overhead. This is one of those moments in games where the trailer actually matches the feel of the gameplay. One of my biggest annoyances in games is when trailers are so drastically different to what you actually experience in the gameplay itself. We saw the attack chopper making runs in Brooklyn during the gameplay reveal trailer, and I was a bit disappointed when we were only playing the infantry version of this map in LA and in the beta, because I really wanted to see that chopper in this setting. And it was on this point, this A point, when I finally got to see a lot of that. I had some pretty cool moments here with the chopper making strafing runs overhead here. The B point looked like it might be almost impossible to capture. It's on top of this tower block, but there are lots of zip lines here to try to ascend and take over the building. I loved how this point forced players into risky decisions about heading up. It gave a real sense of jeopardy, trepidation about whether you will make it up. And when you did, trying to hold it up there was very, very intense. It might look like it could be a very overly dominant power position on the map, but you can't possibly hold all these zip lines here at once and capture all the points across the map at the same time. So it didn't really feel that overpowered as a position. You're also quite limited in how much you can see by the buildings and like the massive bridge in the way, which does make complete sense in terms of balancing it as a position on the map. Either way, I can imagine a lot of you snipers out there are going to have a field day up here. Also, one for the drone fans like me, pinging all the enemies up there. If you're, say you're down low, pinging them up there at the top so your team will know exactly which zip to use. You will be an unsung hero, but you will be a living legend in my eyes. The C point is in this tunnel area underneath the bridge itself, and although this features a lot of infantry action, vehicles can get in there to add quite a bit of spice to the situation. Every fight I had here was very intense, probably the biggest choke point on the map, a pretty classic Battlefield bottleneck here. I definitely won't be sitting in the corner by the entry doors with a shotgun. That is something I would never do, because it would be wrong. The D point is a building site with multiple levels, an open courtyard. It's a pretty cool setting, felt very BF3, quite BF4 here. Lots of exposed concrete, bit of rebar, that sort of jazz. The E point was a pretty open point towards the edge of the map too. This point is very open. It's got a scalable building next to it as well. And I found deployable cover was almost like you have to have it here because it's just such an open point on the map. But all in all, the map featured a wide range of types of gameplay, different ranges, vehicles, infantry, verticality. It's just, and the iconic setting is a very nice choice. I played Conquest and Breakthrough on this, and I have to say Breakthrough is definitely a challenge on the attacking front on this map, given the huge overwatch. There's a lot of natural cover for the defending team on the initial point too, and it was very hard to break through that defensive line. But to be fair, I was in an absolute god lobby in this early access event. I mean, some of the greatest Battlefield players ever were in this lobby, so it's very hard to know whether it will be this difficult in public play when the game launches. Either way, I'm very curious to find out. Conquest was very good on this map in particular. Lots of destruction and cinematic moments as you'd hope to see in BF6. The next map we played was Sobek City, and although there's been hints and leaks of this, and I mean, naughty by the way, very naughty of you, I was still very keen to see what this map had to offer myself. Sobek City is the larger cousin of the Siege of Cairo, and I have to admit I did develop a very strong soft spot for this map. It's quite a beauty. With Siege of Cairo being my favorite map from what I played so far, I was very interested to see what this would be like. I'm not sure what others in the preview event thought of this map, but for me at least, this map might be up there as one of my favorites now. I managed to get a lot of playtime on this map. I played Conquest, Breakthrough, Rush, and Escalation on it, and the map features different areas that are very well suited to all those different game modes. The map features very varied areas. There's a huge vertical tower for snipers on this, wide open areas for vehicles and long range fights, as well as close quarters urban areas that are very good for those really intense fights. There's plenty of room here for droning, trust me, I'd know, and there was also this big hill to fight to control, and this was a very consequential position to hold on Breakthrough and Rush. And I love it when attack and defend maps in Battlefield have these like crux points where it's quite clear that this bit here, this is the thing you need to hold. And when those exist, there's always a lot of chaos that ensues on them, and it's a very classic Battlefield feature. The map also has a lot of tower blocks. You can use a transport helicopter to land on them and take advantage of that high ground. I do imagine for players on the receiving end, this wasn't that much fun, but that's the joy of Battlefield, lads. Next time you spawn, pick a class to take me out. Head up there yourself, adapt, overcome. That's the great thing in the sandbox of Battlefield. Use the tools, find a way. Taking a closer look at the points across this map, this is the A point. It's on the edge of the map, and it's got a lot of cars, things used for cover, as well as these blocks next to them to look down on from above. The B point is a very dense urban environment suitable for a lot of close range absolute bang outs. The C point is very similar to the A point, but the difference here is that the tower next to it actually features a zip line, so you don't need a heli to get on top of this one. The D point was my favorite to fight around. I ended up with an absolutely outrageous run on this building because you can cap it from above, and then people just keep heading up the zip line. But although this might seem very overpowered, you're quite exposed up there, especially to the big tower behind you, and all these open areas around the map can see you, so I don't think it's a totally unbreakable power position by any stretch. The E point is the most open of all the objectives. This is an IFV's dream. Lots of open area, roads around it. You can get really good lines of sight here. So why did I like this map so much? I just found that on this map, I felt a lot of variety in the gameplay. I love the setting, lots of different types of areas. You can play it how you want in many ways, and the points and the areas between those points, they flow together really nicely. I think this touches on a lot of people's feelings about BF6 in general too. Like, a lot of people were saying, I mean, maybe rightly so, they thought a lot of the maps could be quite a lot bigger. In my mind, the medium-sized maps are some of my favorite on this game. Lots of action and cinema around you, but still with enough space to make your own plays and use all the tools available to you in the sandbox if you want to do that. It would be nice though to see some huge maps to see how they do play, and who knows what's in the pipeline moving forward. I'm sure they've heard a lot of the noise surrounding that. The vehicles were great fun on this, especially when you see your friends on the other team and you decide to take matters into your own hands. Breakthrough and Rush on Sobek City were very action-packed, lots of flanking options to control around the size of the map. The development of the points as you flow through the map seemed to increase in difficulty somewhat, so as you progress as the attacking team, you were presented with more of a challenge to try and storm very dominant power positions, and I thought it just worked very well. As I said previously, I've got a chance to play all the maps we've seen already, including Siege of Cairo, and I think this is still my absolute favorite map in Battlefield 6. This map is already iconic to my mind. It's the perfect size for this game and its mechanics. You get so much action. There's so many little alleys and routes you can take. It's fast. It's like an action film, and I think it just plays so well. You might expect less cinematic moments as all the vehicles on this map are on the ground, but crumbling buildings, extremely intense action around all the points. It just makes for some absolute cinema. Hype like this surrounding games can sometimes be a bit of a double-edged sword for developers. You have a lot to do to live up to the hype that you've generated. But given the success of the beta in terms of stability, optimization, gameplay, community reception, and just general appeal to a much broader audience, I think BF6 is looking very promising indeed. Since I've played BF6, a lot of the other FPS games out there feel like they lack a bit of depth and intensity compared to this. Between the audio design, the absolute cinema on offer here in Battlefield 6, it's a very unique experience in the current landscape. As long as there are no mind-blowing bugs on launch, I think BF6 has a real chance to turn those negative perceptions of Battlefield on their head. And given that it's a live service game, there are so many further developments and improvements that could take the game even further. I really enjoyed playing in this early access event, and I know that I'm going to be playing an awful lot of this game when it launches, so if you want to see more big moments, collaborations with other YouTubers, general tomfoolery, consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like. A big shout out to all of you who've supported and watched my channel over the last few years. The channel has grown a lot. I absolutely love making these videos, and to be a part of the reveal event in LA and a launch of this scale has just been an awesome opportunity for me, and I feel very privileged and lucky. So thank you, and I can't wait to see what this game presents in terms of content for the channel. If you're looking forward to Battlefield 6, let me know in the comments. I thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.